Welcome to YxYA Radio. My name's Dan Watson, and on my left I got Johan Shaw. How you doing, sir?
Good.
Mr. London, you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling nice.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I like that. Benito Onyemba.
Yes.
Fresh trim.
Fresh trim, man.
Mate,
Just
that's
for the occasion.
You look so good.
We
man.
have someone important today, so I had to make sure I came correct. man.
Absolutely. Who we got?
We have the one, the only Harry Phinda.
Harry Phinda. Give it up
Come
for
on,
Harry
studio, let's
Phinda,
give
ladies
it
and
up.
gentlemen. I think
What's up?
I think Harry is the first person to come onto the show in a suit.
In a dress.
In a what, Dan?
No, sorry, tired. In a suit.
In a suit.
Wow.
Bro, you're looking good.
Come on.
Good, sir.
We have to be serious, guys, especially where we work, you know.
Where do you work?
Where'd you work, man?
So I work in the cabinet office.
Oh! Don't leave me
so
hanging.
Drop on a clue.
Hey, Harry, I'm voting for you, Harry.
Drop one of clues bar.
You have my vote
I
already.
like that.
Okay.
Come on.
What does that mean?
So the cabinet office is part of UK government,
Yeah.
and what that means is I work across different governments and basically coordinate policy. So that's my job.
It's amazing. Before we get into that,
Of course.
who's your favorite artist?
As in music artist?
No, like painter.
What? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay, awesome.
There you
Who's your
go.
favorite music artist?
Music. Kendrick.
UK.
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, UK. I really like Hardy DiCaprio right now.
Who do you support football team?
I'm an Arsenal fan.
Come on, Gunners.
Okay, we'll stop there.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Good
great,
stuff.
mate.
Yeah, good.
Mate, Harry, tell us if someone doesn't. For those who don't know Harry,
Yep.
just give us a bit of tell us a bit about yourself. Like, where'd you come from?
Sure.
Where did you grow up in London?
Yep.
East London, right?
East.
No?
No, bro. South
bro.
all the way.
I
Come
tried-
on,
I
somebody.
tried to claim you there.
Come
no,
on.
No need to turn your nose up.
Nah, East is... Nah, anyway.
Okay,
But anyway.
South.
So you happen to live in South East London?
Great. No. I live in South London, particularly. South East is a little bit different. South. So I live
Okay.
in Croydon.
Okay.
Can I put it that way?
You live in Croydon?
I live in
Yep.
Croydon.
Yep.
I came to Croydon when I was about 12 years old. I was originally born in Zimbabwe. Spent 2 years of my life in Zimbabwe, and then I moved to South Africa when I was 2, and then I came here when I was. And then I spent 10 years there, and I came here when I was 12. So we first moved to Manchester, interestingly enough, for a year, because finding a house in London, as you can imagine, for 3 people was real tough.
So who's the 3 people?
So it's me, my mom, and my sister.
Okay.
So so we moved over and moved to Manchester first. So I spent about a year of my life in Manchester, which was weird because obviously, you know, I was in, you know, rural Manchester, and I was definitely the only black guy in like my year, and like one of like 3 black guys in my school. So it
This
was.
is what I keep trying to explain to these boys. I'm from like York, which is like.
So this is still weird for
Yeah.
you. You're still like,
So
you're still like, whoa. Yeah, so it was mad. I mean, like, even on the first day, like, the teacher was late to pick me up. So I ended up being late for a whole school assembly. And what happened was when you're late and you come in to sort of the
This is in
the
Manchester.
hall. This is in Manchester.
Yeah.
You come into the hall, like, everyone sees you. So I came in late, and like literally, like, everyone was like it went dead silent, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, no ways, we got another black guy. And at that time, I had like little, like, you know, like little dreads.
yeah. Oh man, I
And
wish
so-
we could find that picture.
Honestly, you probably can. I got you. But it was insane.
So how was that for you then? So you come from South Africa,
Yes.
Zimbabwe, South Africa, to Manchester.
Yes.
And then, how's that?
I mean, obviously, you know, I love people from Manchester. Don't get me wrong, but like, honestly, you don't think someone with a Mancunian accent is necessarily like English. So obviously, you just picture the Queen. You picture, you know, people speaking really well, and you get there, and the person's like, "You're right, mate. You want a chuddy?" Like, like what?
What's the chat? What's the chatty?
What's the chuddy? Chewing gum. Come on, Johan knows. So again, it was completely like, it was just like culture shock, like completely. And for the first week, I definitely didn't understand, you know, like when we were talking, I have to ask people to slow down.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
It's
so
not good or bad. It's just different.
it was just
different.
That's what I
really
mean, it's
different.
just-
And the funny thing is, it was Manchester, but it was Bury, so it was like,
Oh,
Yeah,
Bury.
wow.
it was like, it
I
was
was
like,
born in Blackburn.
okay, cool. So you understand? It
understand,
literally, honestly, it was just such a it's such a wild experience. And even like when I'd be going through the corridors, people would randomly just reach out, touch my hair, don't even know who they are. Like, it was legit.
Don't touch the
family,
waves.
They're from Bolton.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they would do to me.
Be serious,
Yeah.
bro.
they still do it.
That's
So from
That's
Manchester,
crazy.
you moved to London.
Yep.
So
Way
how
more
like
multicultural.
Way more
exactly.
We take it for granted, but it actually is.
No, it is. But so I go from being like one of the only like black guys to being like every single like, especially in my
right.
school in Croydon,
Yeah.
like it was super multicultural.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started, because we don't really have like Caribbean people in South Africa. Like I guess they don't travel that far. But like legit, that was not a shot. Why is everyone laughing? Why is everyone? That was definitely not. Anyway.
Yeah, I love Caribbean
No, it's
food.
cool.
So.
Of
Anyway,
course you
carry
do.
on, carry
And
on.
again, I discovered Caribbean food. Anyway, so I got there and I was like, whoa. Like, and I guess, so I came in the middle of year 9 and I guess, the schools that were taking people in the middle
That's
of year
quite
9.
late.
Yeah, it was. No, as in I came to London in the middle of year 9.
I mean, like joining a school at year 9
Yeah,
is
yeah,
quite late.
yeah. It was, and also like I came in the middle, so there was not many schools who were taking like students. It was in January, and so I had to like why? My mom was always wanted to live in London. That was always the plan. But I think Manchester was sort of a stopover, because the reality is that getting a house in London, like all the way from South Africa and trying to scope it out, just didn't work out.
So how was that for you? Because I remember my school days, man.
Yo.
Secondary school kind of they mold you.
Yeah,
in your,
bro.
your teenage age before you go into college.
Yeah.
How was that for you coming into school at year 9,
Yeah.
integrating into the culture
Exactly.
in London? How did you find that?
And I mean, it was like, it's Croydon, London. Like, so it's like real deep, really rough, like really hood. And
What
Why?
do you mean? How was it?
so as an example, like, and this is no word of a lie, like I was doing my tests, like to show what set I was going to be in. And I was doing it, and this kid, I'm in the library, and I hear this screaming. And I was like, yo, what's happening? This is my first day. Like, and I hear the screaming, and I see this kid run in the library and like hold his face. And I was like, yo, just like, what's just happened? Like, I was like, this is ridiculous. And his face is like really, really, really red. And he was mixed race, so for his face to be really red, like it was, it was a lot. And essentially, he got I don't know if you know pepper spray, but essentially one of the kids, like, they got into an argument, and then pepper spray came out and he just sprayed it in his face. So like that was day 1. And I was like, whoa. And I remember there was a guy who took me around the school. They used to get people who like looked like you to take around the school. And there was this another Jamaican guy with like little dreads. I was like, this is mad. But what was crazy is like he took me around and he was like, yeah, by the end of the year, you'll get into a fight. And like he was supposed to take me around and just show me the school, but he literally took me around and just showed me like who's the don't mess with that person, who is this person's in this gang or these gangs or this.
Did you get in a fight?
No, I didn't. Interestingly enough, I think and people hated me for that because I just got on with everyone. I mean, I was real close one time.
I don't know anyone that doesn't like you.
For real?
That's real.
Yeah.
No,
Yo,
I like you.
Johans, I won Johan over because of the Manchester thing now. So,
Alright,
it's
so
done.
okay, so you
Such a politician.
we got to that
I
bit.
won him over.
Exactly. Come
Croy-
on.
Croydon, you said it was hood.
Yes.
All right, so now you're sitting in front of us in a suit.
Of course,
saying
yeah.
you work for who?
The cabinet office.
The cabinet office. So
yes.
not many people get there.
Yeah, I agree.
What was your journey from the hood to the cabinet office?
Damn. It's been a long journey. I mean,
Synopsis.
Synopsis. So basically, I guess a teacher was the first time I interacted with politics. I remember we used to be in RE, and RE was a class you'd like throw papers and be sleeping in, and like no one really, and especially in my school, people would like smoking. So no one really paid attention. And then they introduced citizenship, and that was basically trying to understand how you can be a good citizen in Britain. And I remember she was a fresh, LSE grad, so she was very, very young and had a really great perspective on life. And I remember she put this quote up on the board, and it said, if you were a different religion, would you be the same person? And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Exactly. And like genuinely, I'd never had a conversation like that where I was able to like think and to debate and even for people to take my opinion seriously. So I think that's the beginning of this sort of thought around, okay, I need to think about, life rather than just like, because at the time I was playing basketball as well, and I was quite serious about it. And I guess I got to 16 and I was deciding what I wanted to do. And literally, because we'd entered this competition called the J8, so the junior version of the G8 Summit. And basically it was me and 4 other people from my school. And everyone was like, you're never going to win. Like, how the hell are they going to pick some kids from Croydon, like, to enter this competition? And we went through the stages. At the last stage, we were the only people of color. And we're also the only people from who went from a private school. Wow. So we got there, and it was weird. Like, it felt like Manchester all over again. Yeah. Like, and we went through the whole process, and we won the process. Mad. And I guess, the world was the sort of political world was a bit shocked because they were like, wait, who are these kids? And then so Channel 5 are really interested in us because we represented a different side of Britain. We were going to go to a global summit, like, you know, to 8 of the most sort of economically massive countries, and we were going to represent the UK. And it was me, who's Zimbabwean, my friend is from Kurdistan, my other friend who is mixed race Caribbean, and my other friend is Ethiopian. So it was a big statement, and it was a big deal. So I think that's where it started, if I'm honest. And I just continued because I really, really enjoyed it. When I was 16, I had to make a choice because I was really good at basketball. I was playing quite seriously. And I had to make a choice in terms of, okay, what do I want to do? And everyone around me was like, play basketball. And to be honest with you, I really wanted to, but I just made an honest opinion about the fact that I don't want to wake up every day and train. And actually this politics thing, I'm really interested in it. And I decided to continue to take it on.
That's cool. There's a lot of people who want to do things aspirational in their life.
Yeah.
But sometimes the people around them don't always see the vision.
Yeah.
For what the vision that they see.
Exactly.
How did you hold on to that vision? Like doing politics, because in that time everybody wants to do sports or everyone wants to become a rapper.
Yeah.
But you chose the lane of politics.
Yeah. Bro, loads of people laughed at me, like 100%.
Can you imagine?
People were like, what?
Like, not just your friends, though, eh?
Huh?
Not just
my friends. Like, you know, you're talking about a societal narrative that looks at people and goes, this is what you should do. Because this is the only way that you're going to make it out the hood. Or this is the only way that you're going to...
And that's not necessarily colour.
Yeah, no, not necessarily, but...
That's more like environment, right?
Yeah, of course. The environment, where the options that you're given, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, it was, you know... I guess for me, being resilient, being in a place like church was a really, really important thing for me, because the reality is I was coming from a place where it was so negative, but every single Friday I would, you know, hear that I am, you know, that I'm highly favored, that God has a plan for me. All of those things played a huge part in my development and like the person that I said I was. And of course it was really hard because there were times when I was like, you know, doing my A-levels and I was like, man, like I could be in the basketball academy right now. And like I could have done this or I could have done this because it's more comfortable. Yeah. And I see people who look like me in those places.
So how has the church helped you?
Yeah.
Coming from a different country.
Yeah. Single
parent family.
Yep.
Living in the hood.
Yep.
How's church?
Still do. Amen.
Still do.
We ain't out yet. No, I'm joking. I guess in many ways, I think one of the ways is giving me a very international perspective. The fact that our church is so multicultural made me realize that there's a much bigger world outside there than Croydon. Like even the fact that I went into central London for church was a big deal, because the reality is I was seeing other places. I've got friends who, you know, haven't left Croydon, and the only time they've left Croydon is to go to Jamaica, or the only time they've left Croydon is to go to Nigeria, and then that's it. And they go, because Croydon is so close to Gatwick, you don't need to leave there. You take one train, and that's it. Whereas I think that was one thing. I also think like being around people who genuinely like actually look out for you, and they say, hey, like how you doing? Like how was this week? How are your exams? And actually, when you tell them about the crazy things that you want to do, because and of course they know it's outlandish about the fact that you want to, you know.
What do you want to do?
A kid from Croydon, like as an example, like a kid from Croydon who's gonna go abroad and meet Barack Obama and meet Vladimir Putin, all of these people on a face-to-face basis. They knew it was outlandish, but they believed it, you know. Whereas outside of it, people laughed all the time, and I just think I think having that close-knit group of people who actually go, oh my gosh, I actually believe in you, bro. Like I know you can do it. I think those are some of the things. And of course, just literally my relationship with God. I genuinely don't see how people do it without him. Yeah. Like, I just don't understand, because it's so much pressure. And just me knowing that it's not about me honestly is the best thing ever. Because then all the pressure's off. Then it's like, yo, the only way I even got here, even to this country, even to the place that I am, even the awards and the people that I've seen or the people I've met, is literally because of God. Like, no one can sit there and be like, yo, this makes sense. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
Well, talking about the people that you've met, people that you've seen, you're going to receive an award from the Queen, aren't you?
Yes.
Soon. Can you tell us about that? What's that? How did you go from... I just think your story is phenomenal. From Croydon, you've worked, you did your exams, you studied, you put yourself around the right people, you found a healthy community in the life of church, and now you're getting an award from the Queen. I just think, you know, you're the first person I know who's going to see the Queen, to be honest. I think that's cool.
I hope she holds out. I'm serious.
How did the opportunity come around?
Was that my...
This award is huge as well, because it's not just like UK people. Like, it's like, who is it? It's the
so it's the Commonwealth,
the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And
So
you won the award.
yeah. So so essentially, I was at this thing called Global Changemakers in Switzerland, like a year ago, and I had a friend. We were talking, and he's from Trinidad, and he was the award winner last like the year, like 2 years before or something. And I was like, we were talking about it, and he was like, "Harry, you have to apply." I was like, "Nah." Like, I was like, "You're kidding me!" Like that again, outlandish completely. You know, it's so far away from where I thought me and myself are. And essentially, he hounded me, like literally, and he was so godsend because literally, like this guy from Trinidad was like calling me, WhatsApping me, going, "Yo, you need to apply. Like, you need to put your application in." And I did. And if I'm honest, like it still feels very surreal. Yeah. That's what's gonna happen. I guess I've been able to. It's starting to become a bit more real. Like I did the Commonwealth Summit last week, where obviously like I got to meet some of the other royals, which was really interesting. But again, like it's just really is honestly so surreal. And again, just a testament of like how God has been able to bridge that gap between what my own potential is and, you know, what the God potential is in between that. So
amazing. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, obviously in London, there's like been so much stabbings and, and shootings and all that kind of stuff. And gang crime is I guess, more profiled now.
Yeah.
How do you think, or what do you think the church should be doing to help society in that area of what's going on?
Yeah. So I think I'm going to talk about our church specifically or just church generally?
Yeah, let's go
our church specifically. I think we have a great network of people who are actually really influential in the world. I think being able for us to pull those people together and be like, hey, this is a problem that we've got. We need to be able to do something. You guys have platforms and you have influence in and within that world. Let's see what we can do to do that. I think we're amazing at creating content, which is what I've spoken about before in terms of like the videos that we see at Vision Sunday or the like all of these different things are like industry standard, like unbelievable. And even when I bring friends to church or I bring someone who's a creative or someone who's an artist or a rapper or whatever, like a lot of the times they're like, yo, this is crazy. Like, how do you, like you guys literally like create such amazing content. So I think there's something in that which is being influenced, because especially because we were such a digital generation and there's so much happening on Snapchat, on Instagram, on all of these different things, and using that to be able to say, yo, there's a different way. Yeah. And obviously we have our, like the fact that, so I do youth, like, and I'll continue to do youth for, again, as long as I can before I become Prime Minister. Good. Amen. Good.
That's right. I reckon even when you're Prime Minister, you should
I should still. I'm not sure. The Secret Service might not be. But anyway, but I think
you make commitments. So.
Yeah, of course. But I think that's really, really important, because actually knowing and understanding that young people are a vocal point of our future is really important. So actually using that as a vehicle to say, hey, here is an open place. Like, and McLaren's talked about before, like join our gang, and the reality is that, when you join our gang, you're not in danger. You are loved. Like, you're not in, I guess you're not, you're accepted for who you are, and not necessarily we want to mold you into what we want you to be. We don't, like, there's so many different parts of that fit, and we have a very similar capability in that, so. Yeah. I think those are some of the things, but we can.
What about, we got this whole message, we want to positively shape society. Yep. How does a young person do that if their environment is so negative? If they're the only person that has that mindset, how do they do that?
Of course, I mean, and I would say I think I was, I felt like the only person who had that mindset in my school, and I had to understand that actually, like, I can't, my influence or my the people who influence me cannot be people who don't think the same as me. Does that make sense? So, like, even now, I mean, I'm in politics and I absolutely love it, but I watch a whole bunch of interviews of people who are, like, in a completely different industry or in a completely different sort of creative industry, hip-hop or philanthropist or all of these different people, because, like, I understand that they are that they're just as successful and they've had to think differently as well. So for me, in terms of speaking to a young person, saying you need to make sure that you find people who don't think the same as what other people think, and let them speak into your life. I think that's number one. Number two is not caring. like what people think. I think that holds people back so much. Because the reality is when I was 16, if I cared what people think, I would still be trying to be a basketball player right now. Genuinely. And if I'm honest, I probably wasn't good enough like to actually make it or to do stuff. So it's understanding that I've got a completely different calling and rather than being super sort of Christian, but like being like understanding that my path is so different to other people is really important, and accepting that and going, I'm gonna make sure that like regardless of what happens, I'm gonna continue to chase it. Because even now it's so hard because you can sit here and we can go, politics is so crazy right now, and I could go, God, I don't want to do this. Like this is so long. Like I'm just gonna go work in the city, like or something like that. But actually, it's an ample opportunity in that sense. So I think it's so important for people to just understand that. Like society puts so many barriers and things on people, and we see it broken all the time, and yet we still succumb to it.
Amazing. We are super proud of you, Harry. We believe you're going to be the first Prime Minister from Hillsong Church.
Amen.
And don't forget us.
I won't.
Like you have my vote, bro.
I won't.
Don't forget Friday Night Youth.
I won't.
All that kind of stuff.
I'll make sure.
Just to finish us off, Benito's got a little something for you.
Fantastic.
Listen, mate. How did we know that Peter was a rich fisherman?
Oh God.
What?
Peter from the Bible. How did we know that he was a rich fisherman?
I have no idea.
I don't care.
By his net income.
Oh.
You get that?
Amazing.
Harry Phinda, we love you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Mate, awesome, bro.
Thank you.
Nice.
Bless, mate.